What's up, everybody? Welcome to In Search of Flavor, a channel here on YouTube where we're dedicated to... That's sort of my job. Well, I was sort of hoping that you would let me do it today. Well, if you wanted to do the job, you should at least dress the part, don't you think? Me? What are you wearing? Nice shirt. Do you mind? Can I keep going? They're waiting for us. What's up, everybody? Welcome to In Search of Flavor here on YouTube, a channel that is dedicated to helping you make better food in your kitchen. Today we are looking at roast chicken. So let's go. I think roast chicken is a dish that any home cook should have in their arsenal. Not only is it darn tasty, but it is good for you. I have fond memories of my childhood, coming in from outside, playing with my friends, G.I. Joe and the Kung Fu Grip or whatever we were doing, and saying to my mom, "Mom, what's for dinner?" And she would look down at me and say, "Roast chicken, son." And I would be, transported to Happy Town for a meal that was coming soon. I still get transported to Happy Town thinking about roast chicken. So that's what we are going to make here today, and let's get started. Americans eat a lot of chicken, with the average American meat eater consuming about 90 pounds of chicken per year. One of the reasons that chicken is such a popular meat is that it is the lowest cost meat on the planet. Chicken is also, in case you didn't know, an eco-friendly meat, having a carbon footprint that's half that of pork and a quarter that of beef. Yep, those chickens, they love the planet. As you can imagine, consumption numbers like these means big business, with some 9 billion chickens being slaughtered every year in the United States alone. The days of Farmer Brown heading out back with the axe and the boots on to go rustle up some grub, those are over. Chicken is big business. So today we are going to do a butterflied roast chicken here in the In Search of Flavor kitchen. And I really like this method because it allows you to produce a succulent, beautiful, well crisp skinned bird in about 45 minutes, whereas if you roast it regularly, it would take you about 2 hours. Oh, I can hear the viewer out there on the interweb saying, why so much less time? How does it produce superior results? Those are all good questions, and for the answers, I think we should turn to the In Search of Flavor lab. Sorry folks, you can't unsee that. Okay, Alex, I'm ready. Okay, Doc, tell us why butterflying a chicken and roasting it is better than roasting a chicken whole. Yes, well, if we look at the drawing I have here, you can see that a chicken is essentially a sphere of meat. Spheres of meat are difficult to cook evenly. If the cook is not careful, the outside of this guy will be burnt to a crisp before the inside is done. So, if we butterfly the chicken, we essentially take the inside and make it the outside, thus doubling our surface area, and the chicken behaves more like a steak than it does like a spherical object. And that's why butterflying your chicken to cook it is an effective technique. Makes total sense. Thanks for the explanation, Doc. Anything else that we should know before we go? Just that I never received an invitation to chicken dinner. Oh, are you going to make rice? I love rice. Make some rice. You're breaking up, Doc. I got to go. We'll talk to you later. Whew. Now that we know that we should butterfly our bird, let's get down to business. First, set your oven to bake at 500 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 260 degrees Celsius if that's how you roll. While the oven is preheating, let's talk about preparation, because we are dealing with raw chicken here, and once we start cutting up our chicken, we're not going to want to be reaching around with our chickeny hands finding everything that we need in the kitchen. So before we get our hands all nasty, let's get the stuff together that we need. We are going to need a sheet pan covered in aluminum foil for easy cleanup, and a rack on which to cook our bird. We're going to need 1 medium onion chopped, that's about a cup worth of onion, 1 celery rib, that's about a half a cup of celery chopped, 1 carrot chopped, that's about a half a cup, 1 chicken in the 4-pound range. You don't want much bigger than a 4-pound bird for this. 4 to 5 pounds would be probably the top. You need about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, kosher salt, black pepper, 1 cup of chicken stock. You're going to need a half a cup of white wine and a couple of tablespoons of unsalted butter. As a side note, having everything in place like this actually has a name. The French call it mise en place, and it means essentially everything in its place. When you're cooking, if you follow this philosophy, I think you'll find it will serve you well. Okay, on to cooking the chicken. We have our chicken here on the cutting board. Why don't we go ahead and flip this guy breast side down. We're gonna go ahead and grab our kitchen shears, and we're gonna go right up one side of the backbone. You could do this with a knife also. This takes a little more hand strength to do it with kitchen shears. So if you find you don't have the strength, you could try it with a knife. Okay, so now we have the backbone removed. We're going to save this guy. We're going to look at him again in a second. Okay, so we're going to flip this guy back over, and we are going to push down on it until we feel the wishbone break. And I felt it break. Sometimes you'll hear it, sometimes you'll feel it. And then right in here is the keel bone. So you don't necessarily have to take the keel bone out. I oftentimes like to take the keel bone out because when it's done cooking, it will make for a much easier time actually cutting the chicken up. If you pull the keel bone out now, if you can get your finger in there and sort of wrench him out, you can see that bone pops out of there. And you can see now it lays much flatter than it did before. So there we go. So now that we have our bird laid out flat here, sometimes what I like to do is it already has enough fat on it, so I'll cut off some of the excess skin just because it's more fat. We don't need more fat. So I'll cut off some of the excess skin. And then I'm going to grab my olive oil. I'm going to give it a little bit of olive oil on this side. I have my salt and pepper. Going to give it a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. You'll see that I've separated my spices out into these little dishes so my chickeny hands don't touch any of my other stuff. Okay, with that size seasoned, we're going to go ahead and give him a flip. I already tucked his wings back here so the wingtips don't burn. And again, we're going to grab the oil, give him a little bit of oil, rub it all over. Not that there's not enough fat in this chicken already, but the oil will help get the heat into the meat. Gonna do a little more salt on this side. Whoop. Let's rub that around. And a little more pepper. And anything else you like. You could add some thyme, you could add a little rosemary, whatever you feel like adding there. And our chicken looks good to go. So we are going to get our roasting pan, and our chicken is going to go right on top of our roasting pan like that. And this guy is going to make it off into a 450 degree oven. I'm going to set our timer for 40 minutes, and I'm going to go stick this in the oven. Okay, with our chicken cooking in the oven, we can turn our attention back to the backbone. So normally, what I could do with this is just put it in a freezer bag, stick it in the freezer, continue to save them every time I make butterflied chicken. But rather than that, what I'm going to do is cut this guy up with my shears into little bits. So I'm going to take these pieces, put them in a stock pot, brown them. When they're brown, I'm going to add my aromatics, which would be my onions, carrots, and celery that I cut up earlier, and we are going to make a jus out of it. So let's take a look at that. Okay, there goes our timer. Let's pull that bird out of the oven. Okay, I think we could agree that this looks pretty darn tasty. So we're gonna let it set up for about 10 minutes and then we are gonna go to carving. Okay, so 10 minutes has passed, so let's check this bird out, shall we? One of the great things about doing the whole butterfly method, like we said earlier, and taking out that keel bone is now when it's time to actually take the bird apart, it just comes apart in pieces. So we literally can go right down the middle of the breast, like that. And we can go right here, in between the thigh and the breast and separate it. And you can see we literally have a bird that comes apart into 4 pieces. So, after all of our work, there is our beautiful chicken and our jus. I would say it's time for a feast. What would you say? Should we try it? Man, is that good. Make this at home. You're not going to be disappointed. It is delicious. So there you have it, folks. Tasty roast chicken in your kitchen. I hope you give this recipe a try, and I hope you picked up a couple of pointers here today on how to make it better in your kitchen. If you make roast chicken at home and do it a different way, go ahead and leave some comments down below and let me know. I'm always looking for new ways to do stuff. If you don't mind, go ahead and smash that like button down there and give me a like on this video. If you really liked it, why not go ahead and subscribe? Because we're going to have good stuff coming out all the time, and I wouldn't want you to miss any of the goodness right here on In Search of Flavor. So thanks for joining me today, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.